Hey there. Welcome back. Today we are going to explore this pumpkin carving kit. I thought that we could open it up together. It is currently unopened. It is sealed on the side. And I thought we could open it. Well, first I thought we could thoroughly check out what is on the front and the back of this little booklet. And then we can open up these tools and check them out and see what sounds they might make. And then we can open up the pattern book and check out the patterns and do some tracing. And I thought maybe we could even use the pumpkin tools to trace the patterns. So I just thought that this little kit had a lot of ASMR potential, and I have used kits like this before to carve pumpkins, and they do usually work pretty well. These kinds of tools, typically only last one season, but they do the job. And this little pokey tool I found to be probably the most helpful, because when you use the patterns, instead of cutting lines, you can just poke along the lines and make little tiny holes, which then eventually become, the cut, so that you can take away the pieces. And that seems to be the secret to getting some of these more intricate shapes. But perhaps I am getting ahead of myself. Let us begin at the beginning here and establish that this lovely pumpkin carving kit, this collection of tools for pumpkin carving, comes to us from Pumpkin Masters, #1 selling brand. So there may well be a lot of competition in the pumpkin carving kit market. I really don't know. But I'm glad that we have the #1 selling brand here. Only the best on Quiet Comfort ASMR. Spared no expense. So again, this is a PUMKIN pumpkin carving kit. Those words are kind of under the plastic, so can't really trace them. And this kit includes 15 pieces, 1, 5, 1, 5. And I think it goes into more detail down here at the bottom. It includes 3 saws. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to consider those saws, but I will go with it. 3 saws, 3 little serrated cutting knives, 1 scoop, so this is to scoop the seeds from the inside of the pumpkin, 1 poker, and this was the tool that I was talking about that I find particularly helpful, and 1 pattern book. So we've got these various tools. Again, this one is a saw, it's a serrated edge, and they have different handles. I guess if you want to take a different sort of ergonomic approach to your pumpkin carving, if you have a particular technique. This one's sort of more bulbous and rounded, so you can get a good grip there. This one is a little shorter blade and more rectangular, and then this one is a little longer. Those two look pretty much the same actually, and maybe this is like a more precision blade, I don't know. If there are any expert pumpkin carvers out there, you can let me know how these different saws might be used to their prime advantage. So, we also don't want to forget to point out here that we could win up to $5,000 if we enter their carving contest. See official rules for details. So somewhere within here are the official rules of the contest. I don't even know if I'll actually get so far as actually carving a pumpkin, let alone entering it in the contest, but you never know. Glad to know that we have the option. And then there's a little illustration up here of a full moon with some clouds across it and some trees and a pumpkin in the background here, and kind of a brick path, I guess, behind that the pumpkins are sitting along. And we do have this preview here on the front of 1, 2, 3, 4 of the patterns. This sort of traditional, mischievous, perhaps, a tiny bit villainous looking jack-o'-lantern face. We have a welcome pumpkin. That's always nice. It's got, not sure if that's a cauldron or a latte underneath it. Something like that. And then this little guy is the one that seems the most unusual to me. He is a ghost with a witch hat and broom and a trick-or-treat bag. Seems to be a bit of a mishmash of themes there. And then this cat. And I always am drawn to patterns with cats. And I really like this one. So this is already a contender for my favorite pattern. Of course, I want you to choose and let me know which is your favorite pattern. So start thinking. We can decide if I do indeed carve my pumpkin, which pattern I should use. And I do have a pretty nice pumpkin that could be carved, but it does take, it does take a certain amount of wherewithal, more just to get into the pumpkin, than the actual pattern carving, but perhaps I will be up for it. And I do like to eat the seeds, roast and eat the pumpkin seeds. So that's an extra treat. Okay, so that is the front of our kit here, and we will come back to our tools and open them up. But first, let's flip to the back and see what further information we have here. Okay, it includes 10 patterns, 10, 1, 0. So we have lots to choose from. Before we go through the individual patterns, let's go down here to the instructions so we understand what we're dealing with here. We have 4 instructional illustrations here, 4 little squares. So first we need to tape over pattern, which just means to put tape along the edges of the pattern. I think it's kind of funny that they say over pattern because you don't really need to tape over the whole entire pattern, and in fact that might make it a little trickier. But tape over pattern, number 1. Number 2, apply. So take your pattern and tape it to your pumpkin. Carve. So you use one of those or several of those little tools to carve your pattern, and then display. So I think it's interesting here that they didn't specifically include the step of cutting off the top of the pumpkin and taking all the guts out. So if you did just tape over the front of the pumpkin and start doing this, start doing your carving, it would look extra creepy because you would have pumpkin seeds and guts falling out of the eyeball crevices. So here's my one critique, pumpkin masters. If someone was completely new to carving pumpkins and didn't know about the cleaning out the pumpkin step, you might want to include that. But I guess if you're a pumpkin master, then, pish tosh, you already know these basic things. I guess I should have gotten the pumpkin novice kit if I thought these sorts of details should be included. That reminds me of a Halloween story, which is that one of the things I used to make for Halloween parties a lot as a cute, festive themed treat would be to make a pumpkin hummus and then carve a little pumpkin with a face to look like it was barfing, to look like it, was going and had an unpleasant face. And then you could arrange your dip or your hummus, put down a little bit of plastic wrap and arrange your dip over it so that it looked like the jack-o'-lantern was barfing out your dip. And then people could dip their chips into the pumpkin dip. So used to do a lot of spooky foods back in the day. So there's one simple idea that I got from the internet, I think before Pinterest even existed. So there you go. Okay, so let's check out these patterns. It's a very diverse group of possible designs you might choose for your pumpkin. This first one is called Luna Llama. So we have a little llama here being very cool and festive in his shades. And then there's a little moon there. So that is the Luna. So we have the Llama Luna. Luna Llama, Luna Llama. Say that 3 times fast. Luna Llama, Llama Luna. Luna Llama, Llama Luna, Luna Llama, Llama Luna. Ramble Lama Ding Dong. The next one is Goblin Grin. You can see llama and the goblin. And he has a face with sort of jagged teeth and some angry eyebrows and menacing looking eyes. And ooh, look, he has little claw hands. Well, that's weird. Don't really see a jack-o'-lantern, like, with hands, like, right down along his face. That's extra creepy. Okay, so extra creepy points for Goblin Grin for his creepy little hands there. We have this welcome, which is lovely, very pretty, although it looks like that swirly part, that looks like that could be tricky. Anytime there's a really skinny part in a pattern when you're carving a pumpkin, that's a potential place where the whole thing's just going to go and you might have to put like a toothpick in it or something to hold it into place. So I usually avoid ones with super skinny parts. This one's pretty fun. It's called Wicked Wheeler, and it is a witch on a skateboard. Kind of looks like a pogo ball. Okay, I'm totally going to date myself. If there's anyone out there who knows what a pogo ball is and has experienced one, it was basically a toy of the 80s, which was like a bouncy ball with kind of a platform around it. So you could stand on it and kind of jump around on it like a pogo stick, but there was no stick, so it was a pogo ball. I don't really remember anything ever happening with those except kids flying off them sideways and getting injured, and classic toy of the 80s. That's usually how most of them were. But anyway, she's the Wicked Wheeler. And when I think of wheelers, that's another 80s thing. It actually makes me think of the movie Return to Oz, which has some incredibly creepy characters in it called wheelers who wheel around on all fours, which would be much scarier, I think, than this cute little witch. She seems to be smiling and having a good time, so try to allow you to see these up close a little. And then, I don't know why I went this way, but I did. This cute little love on Love with the pumpkin jack-o'-lantern O. We've got the perched owl. It's very cute. On a little kind of stump, and he's got some leaves or vines coming in the side there. We have a moonlit bat. We have a friendly Jack, so he's a little more smiley and doesn't have any creepy hands, so that's good. Trick or three, which I guess is because there's three things in this: a cat, a bat, and a pumpkin. Okay, that one I'm not sure of, but I do like that one. And Hexed Haunt, which again is the ghost with the witch hat and the broom, and he's hexed, and I don't know, that one doesn't seem as tight thematically as the others. So there is your preview of all the patterns, and don't you worry, we are going to dive into them and look at them more closely, but that can get you thinking about which one you might like best. Let's see, okay, is there any other critical information on the back here? Yes, we understand that this is not a toy, so we will be very careful with it, particularly because there are sharp cutting tools in it, saws, as it were. Okay, so we can always go to pumpkinmasters.com if we want to up our pumpkin skills even more, become a pumpkin samurai. Okay, so I think that we have reviewed all of the information that is available to us on the outside of this pumpkin carving kit. So, as you can see, it is the booklet here with the patterns in it. and it is sealed. So I brought my trusty zebra scissors, and I'm going to cut through this little sticker, and hopefully, looks like it wants to do it from the front. So I will hold it this way. Here we go. Awesome. Open. And so now we can open up the pattern book. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun to look at. I'm just trying to get the pages unstuck from each other. Okay, so that is good. And I think I will go ahead and remove the tools from the front so we can use those as we look at the inside. So I think this is going to be just one of those classic peel away dealies. So let's see here. Here we go. Okay. Probably just peel away the whole little plastic part. Oh, here we go, and destroying the cover. That's what always happens. So that's why we paid it so much attention. Okay, that probably is just the easier way to do it, because then you have your little tray for your tools. And now we get a second layer of tapping. Interesting. That kind of inner cardboard layer. Okay, so we've got our little tools detached here now. Okay, let me see. I think I'll go from this edge, and I might just have to bring my scissors back and do a little puncture here. This might be too loud, but we'll see. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too bad. Okay. Now I've got a little give here. There we go. That's probably my favorite thing about ASMR is that we usually are going for the opposite of efficiency. Like, I don't want this package to open all in one piece. It's much better if it's slow and gradual, right? Okay, well, I just lost my first saw. Okay, so already here, probably not being, already probably setting a bad example here for pumpkin carving safety, but that's okay. Okay, I will hold my tray straight now, level, and take off the rest of this paper. Okay. See, I love it when I do these sort of, you know, things where I don't know exactly how it's going to go, because then it's really fun. Okay, so now we have this little tray with our tools in it. So we have the, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Okay, so we have the scooper, the seed scooper, it's got a nice little concave scooping surface there. Recently seen some people using like utensils on the mic. So maybe I can pumpkin scoop my microphone. The pumpkin scoopy. Okay, we have the pumpkin scoopy. And then there are 3 of these saws, which I will be careful with. Saw number 1. Saw number 2. And saw number 3. This is the one that's a little more... Okay, I'm telling you, this is out of control. Okay, this already fell out, so here's the little poking tool. Poke, 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 poke. Poke, 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 poke. So that's the idea. You put the pattern of the pumpkin on, and then you just go poke, 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 poke down the line. Poke, 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 poke. And that helps you cut out your shape. So you can either go poke, 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 or you can go saw, saw, poke, 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 saw. And those are your 2 pumpkin carving techniques. Okay, I want to tap on the saw a little bit. These are totally hollow. They are very lightweight plastic. Oh, this one's kind of, yeah, it's like hollow on the end. Alright. Devin, be careful with the saw. Okay, I think I'm going to just leave the saws to the side and use them for actual pumpkin carving, and I will lean towards these 2 tools maybe to do a little tracing in the book. I have my my poker. Poke, 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 poke. Ooh, that's for those who like that. That's a good poke. Okay, so now that we have ruthlessly torn away the front of our book here, let's open up to the first pattern. And okay, I have to give them more credit because they do have inside the kit 6 steps to mastery. This is hilarious. And so you carve an opening from the bottom of your pumpkin. Oh, from the bottom. They say to do it from the bottom, I guess, so it doesn't show. Interesting. That's tricky, though. Clean out the goop. Scrape the area you're about to carve until the wall feels about 1 inch thick. I'll bring this around here so I can read it better. Pick your favorite pattern and cover the cut lines with transparent tape. This will waterproof and reinforce it so you can carve right through it. Apply the pattern. Make folds on the edges to make it fit around the pumpkin and tape it in place. Okay, I guess they actually do recommend that you tape across the whole pattern because that helps it stay in place, and they say makes it waterproof and reinforces it. Okay. Step 5. Carve out the pieces in the order shown on the pattern. Ooh, they even give you an order. That makes sense. Saw at a 90-degree angle to the pumpkin with a gentle up and down motion. When you've mastered it, you'll feel very little resistance. Carve the outermost edges last. Number 6. Place your carved pumpkin over a battery-powered light and see it come to life. Okay, and then they do tell you, okay, which tool is for what here. Okay, so we have our starter saw, which opens the pumpkin. Like, this seriously sounds like surgery. Okay, so I guess this is what you're supposed to use to make your initial hole and get in there and get the seeds and stuff out. And then you have the scraper scoop, which is apparently trademarked. The scraper scoop, TM, which cleans out the goop and thins the inner walls So yeah, so then you can use this to really scrape the insides and get it nice and clean. And then you have this, oh, there's two of these, okay. The detail saws, which carves the full range of patterns. The detail saws. And then the poker, which can be used for pattern transfer. Interesting. Well, like I said, in the past, I always remember doing a lot of poking with this into the pumpkin. But all right, the starter saw, the scraper scoop, the detail saw, the poker. Okay, well, we have all those tools accounted for. We've gone through our 6 steps to mastery. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's look at our pattern. And they do always look, you know, kind of funny. You have to look down in the corner to see what they really look like, since, you know, they're sort of reversed and set up for the carving mechanism. So there's a master's tip here. Let's start with that. Carving in the order shown will keep the pumpkin shell sturdy until the last cuts are made. Okay, so maybe they have these in order, I think maybe from easy to the most challenging, because this, fold this over here, this friendly Jack is at the easy level. Apparently it could be up to 4 pumpkins of challenge. This is only 1 pumpkin of challenge. And you can see we have friendly Jack's face here. So it says number 1 to cut out his nose. Start here. Number 2 to cut out his eyes. It's kind of cool how they have the numbers like that. Number 2, cut out his eyes. And then number 1, cut out his pupils. Oh no, I'm sorry, his pupils were number 1, 2. I was going 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay, number 1, nose and pupils. And number 2, the rest of his eye. And number 3, his mouth. And it says to carve the bottom edge, alas. Boy, that's actually a lot of instruction. I'm actually pretty impressed with this as far as an actual education in pumpkin carving. Okay, so that is Friendly Jack, and he is considered easy, so we'll see. He's pretty cute. Okay, oh nope, they aren't in order, because this next one we've jumped right up to 4 pumpkins of challenge, and I am going to use a saw for this one. I'm going to use a detail saw just for fun, so that we can pretend that we're actually carving. So this is the love one, and let's see, if we were doing it by the book, we would cut out these little inner parts first, and that's so interesting because I would not think to do that. So you do the little inner parts first, and then I guess you do, okay, this piece, you do that piece, and these inner pieces, these are all 2s. And then last, you do these big edge pieces, which are 3s. Wow, okay. That one seems complicated. And that one seems like one that would just, might come apart in the middle of you trying to do it. So, but it does look pretty cool. See, so you can see it up close. That one is pretty cute. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's next. Okay, another 4 pumpkin challenge. So this is a tricky one. The Wicked Wheeler. I'm going to adjust a little bit here so I can have this more parallel to the screen. So for the Wicked Wheeler, we would do these little parts down here first. There's a number 1. Tiny little one. That part there. And then the number 2 parts, which is this upper part. Oh yeah, see all those little bits around her hair and her fingers. Very tricky. And then this little part down here is a 2. And then for the final part, you would do these outer number 3 parts. Boy, this is blowing my mind because I feel like, usually people just sort of do their outline and then try to fill things in, the detail, and this kind of encourages you to go the opposite way, do the detail first and then the big pieces. So there's what she looks like. And the master's tip here is, oh no, it says that it's the same tip. Carving in the order shown will keep the pumpkin shell sturdy until the last cuts are made. Okay, we got it. See if that's the same one at the bottom of every pattern. Yes, it is. It's the same on this one too. Okay. So this one is only 2 pumpkins. And like I said, I don't know why. This is the one that kind of cracks me up. He's like, I'm a ghost, but I'm also a witch. And I'm going trick-or-treating. I don't know why. It just makes me laugh. But if we wanted to carve out this hexed haunt, we would do, let me see, okay. It's this middle part first. Oh wow, okay. So his whole ghostly body here is the number 1. All those little ones. And then his little treat sack is a 2. And the brim of his hat. And the broom. And then 3 is the top of their hat. The top of the broom and the arm, I guess. That's the other ghostly arm. And that's it. So, I don't know. That says only 2 pumpkins. That seems a little tricky. So, hexed haunt. I wanted to call him Haunted Hex. That's the opposite. Okay. Okay, now we're up to our more devious looking jack-o'-lantern face, the goblin grin. This is also supposed to be a level 2. Okay, and so this one actually looks to go top to bottom, which seems, a little more what you might expect. So you do his eyes first. Number 1. And then do his nose and his large creepy mouth all in one piece as a 2. I think that would be very tricky to do all in one piece. And then his creepy hands, which I guess you could just not do if you didn't want to have the creepy hands as number 3. It's like he has little chicken feet. I don't know, it's strange, but okay. Goblin grin, mastery level 2. Alright, I think I'm going to pick up the scraping tool and see if I can use it for one of these. Okay, after Goblin Grin, we have Perched Owl. And Perched Owl is a level 3. So again, we're upping our skills a little bit here. Let me get him up to you so you can see him down in the corner there in his full glory. So the strategy for the owl, interestingly, is to carve all these little inner circles first, which that's interesting to me. So you would do those first and the eyes, and then do this section up here, and then do this big section and do that edge last, it says. And there's this 3-part too. Let's see, look how skinny that is, those little skinny parts. Skinny parts are so tricky. Well, that one is very pretty and very impressive, but I don't know. Seems like that would be pretty tricky. But I really like owls. So that one would be fun to try. Okay, next up. He looks pretty funny in his pattern. We have the moonlit bat. And you can see his full status down there in the corner. He looks a little crazed about the eyes here. He's a wacky bat. But for him, you just do the mouth first. And then the eyes are number 2. And then this section is number 2. This bottom section is number 2. And then the top is number 3. It's the final section. And up here it says carve this one last. So it seems like for each of these you are needing to follow the numbered instructions, do them in the right order, and then when you get to the number 3s, see if there's one that it says do this line last, and save that for the end. So there does seem to be a good bit to think about in carving these pumpkins. So, you can't always just do the old method of just, eyeballing some triangle eyes and a smile and go for it. But, oh my gosh, this one's so cute. Okay, I think I'm just going to use my hands for tracing a couple of them. This is a 3 pumpkins of difficulty for Luna Llama. And so for Luna Llama, he's got his little upper part of his head here above his sunglasses. And the star, that's number 1. And then his little saddle and patterns there. Is that, yep, those little tiny ones. And then you would do the moon, the Luna part of this. And then you would do his whole llama body. And that seems tricky to do all in one piece. But he is so super cute. That would be a really fun one to do. I don't know if I have the gumption to try one that challenging, but I do like llamas, and llamas are one of those things that, like, I feel like I liked llamas before they were trendy. So that one's really cute. The Luna Llama. Llama, Luna, Llama. And, okay, this one is the one that I liked the best from looking on the back of the booklet, and this is a 3. So I don't know. Might be a bit much for me. But this one is called Trick or 3. And we have a bat, and a pumpkin. So you can see what it looks like down there when it's finished. And it looks like for this one, we would carve this little section over here. One. And then the pumpkin's mouth. And these little parts. And this big part. And then this big part. Well, even though this one is rated as a 3, oh, and the cat's eyes. Oh, yeah, you have to do those. You have to do those first. Okay. And the pumpkin eyes. And the bat eyes and mouth. Yeah. I guess that's probably why it's rated as a 3, is because it's got all those different parts. But I think I do like this one. And, I mean, it's mainly these bigger chunks. So I don't know. I am partial to this one because I do have a cat. And I've only had a black cat for 2 Halloweens now, so I'm still into celebrating that. Okay, is this the last one? Yes, this is the last one. This is our 10th pattern, which is also a 3 pumpkin, so didn't really pay attention to how much the challenge level varied in there, but they seemed like they were mostly pretty challenging. I guess if you're buying a kit, you want to be challenged, but this is the welcome, which is pretty cool. And like I said, these swirlies look challenging to me, but I guess you would carve that out first. You know what? Maybe I'll pick my saw back up for this last one. You would carve out that one swirl, and the O and the E little parts, and these little parts. And then you do the 2s, just this inner part of the circle, and these little parts. Yeah, that looks tricky. And then the 3 part. Well, to be honest, I kind of wonder if I do this one, what word it would actually end up looking like. I doubt it would actually look like welcome. I do like the sentiment of this one, though. That you could give folks a nice welcome to your home. So, those are all of our patterns. So, if we come back to the back where we have them all again, and we can look at them as a group, which one is your favorite? We have 10 choices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, my number 1 favorite is the trick or 3. And I think if I do get around to carving a pumpkin, I will try that one. So if I do, I'll take a picture and post it on the community tab or something. No guarantees, I might be too lazy. I think that's the most realistic one I would do. Although I really love the love and the llama and the welcome as well. So which one is your favorite? If you were going to carve a pumpkin, which pattern would you like to have? Cool. Excellent. A very good choice. Okay, well, I just wanted to share It doesn't really make a very good page flipping sound. Maybe a little better that way. I just wanted to share this cool little pumpkin carving kit with you. Like I said, I thought it was very ASMR appropriate. And I promise you that I will be very safe with my initial carving tool. What did they call it? They were very official about it. The starter saw. I will be very careful with my starter saw, my detail saws, my scraper scoop TM, and my poker. I do want to tap on the scooper a little bit more because I thought it was a nice sound. Well, thank you for being here with me. Happy Halloween, happy autumn, happy beautiful season to you. And, I know this time of year can be a little tricky sometimes. It's a time of letting go and a time when old memories and, old losses can sometimes come into our minds. So just take extra good care of yourself, okay? Take time for some fun, silly little things to brighten your spirits and, keep the fire burning in your heart and in your creative spirit. So, Scoopy, thank you for pumpkining with me, and this way it's very satisfying because even if I don't end up carving an actual pumpkin, I feel like I went through the process here with you, and I think we did some sort of like ASMR pumpkin carving, pretend pumpkin carving, which maybe we just invented, so. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy the season. Rest well. And I'll see you